Good morning, evening, afternoon, or night, whatever time you are listening. Welcome back to the Talkin-Twats Podcast. It's been a while, but we are back, and I'm once again joined by Mr. RichieSkillz and Noah. How are we doing, fellas?
What's up?
Very well. We've had the F1 itch for a long time, but we can finally scratch it.
Yeah, fully agree. It's been a long time. I'm excited.
At long last, we are back. We've got some on-track action. We've had 5 days of testing now. It flies by testing. The fact tomorrow's the last day already is crazy. Aye. But let's not dick around here. Let's get ourselves up and running. We've had 5 days of running. You'd like to think by now we can somewhat assess where the teams are standing for this season. Who are we? I want to know what are your thoughts on the sort of the pecking order for the new season? Who looks strong? Who looks like they've messed it up? Haas. What are your thoughts? We'll start with Richie.
Fuck smash door. Haas have been preparing for this for the last 2 or 3 years, Matt. So please do not criticize Gunther. They've had enough to deal with. I think they're going to pull a surprise and not be as far off the pace as you expect. I feel that people have pulled a trick. I think Ferrari will be stepping up their game. McLaren will be good early on in the season, I anticipate, but Mercedes definitely pulled a cat out the bag. So I can't see past them at the minute.
Yeah, okay. Noah, what are your thoughts?
Well, I haven't seen a lot recently, so they still need to surprise me. I guess Ferrari will be a really good competitor this season. Well, we always expect Mercedes to be up front, of course, so I'm curious to see what they can do. Of course, testing, it's still testing, so we don't know what the teams are using in terms of fuel or engine modes or whatever. So yeah, I'll just wait and I'll see what happens next week in Bahrain in the first practice.
Yeah, that's pretty smart thinking from you there. Testing's great and all, but we never really get a fully representative picture. And I think Kevin Magnussen in the Haas was the fastest today.
Yeah, so he was.
maybe we're all going a bit crazy saying Haas are the slowest, because maybe they've pulled one out the bag here and they're going to be world champions 2022. Let's go, Gunther Steiner. No, I agree. I think Haas have, despite not developing their car last year at all, and probably not for the last couple of years, really trying to focus on this set of regulations, they don't look strong at all. I think a lot of that comes down to they seem to have some reliability issues, because they've done averaging 20 laps a day or something. They've had hardly any running, which is exactly what you don't want with a new set of regulations.
Yeah, it was good to see that they granted him an extra hour of running, wasn't it, at the end of today, just to try and play catch up. It wasn't any fault of their own that they missed some of the morning session. When was it? Yesterday?
Yeah.
But good to see him hitting the track. They've got it tough. They're a small outfit, and with all the problems that we'll get into later, I mean, it's the least of their worries. But I mean, a regulation change means that things can go sideways, the order can get shaken up, and hopefully that we got a closer grid this year. How close do we think it is? I don't know. Like you say, with testing, Matt, talk to us about fuel loads and stuff like that, how much it can differ, because we see lap times in the races when we got full tanks. How much will a lap time differ from a quali run to, a full tank kind of thing?
It's major differences. You're talking, you can go 6 to 10 seconds a lap, potentially, depending on what engine modes you're running, what fuel you've got in the car. It makes a huge, huge difference. And like we say, we have no idea at any given moment which team is doing what. So it's so difficult in pre-season to build a genuine picture of who's where. And you've also got also things like some teams do like to sandbag in testing, Mercedes, and other teams like to show their hand a bit more, which I think is Ferrari. I think Ferrari have come out strong, but I also think we always come out strong. We always show a bit more in testing than everyone else. Because I remember you remember 2020 when we were last, or not last, but for Ferrari standards, we were like last.
Yeah.
We came out testing thinking, oh, Ferrari, it's not looking good for them. Maybe they're fourth behind Racing Point. No, we were behind Renault and McLaren as well. All right, we managed to show everything in testing, and we were still nowhere. So I don't believe Ferrari are going to be the fastest this year, like we've seen in testing. I reckon third fastest.
Well,
fair enough.
wrong, I think they're going to be a surprise package this year, but it's a big unknown, like you say, until we see that qualifying session. I think that will be the only time they show their hand. They'll step it up through free practice, but I don't know. How confident are you, Noah? We haven't talked about Red Bull. I mean, they invested a lot in that season where your man, the Dutch champion, took the crown. How proud are you, and what do you expect for the team going into this year?
Well, of course, I'm really proud of the team. I think in behalf of all the people here in the Netherlands, we're stoked. You know, he won, and that's awesome. But Max also said, like, we need to look forward. You know, we won 2021. He wants to win 2022 as well. I think Red Bull has the car to do it. Of course. What's his name? Oh, this is really bad for me. Oh no. Also, the team leader. Oh, this is so bad for me. I'm going to get killed for this.
Christian Horner.
As well. Yeah, no, the old guy.
Helmut Marko.
Helmut Marko, thank you. Oh no, it's been so long.
Call yourself a Red Bull fan.
Sorry, man.
Pull from you.
No, no, Helmut Marko, he likes to say a lot of things. You know, he's already saying that Red Bull will be first by a mile. Yeah, I don't know. As I said, we still need to wait on next week's race. I think Red Bull can win. Of course, Mercedes has a good car with the new Sidepod as well today. Ferrari stepping up their game, McLaren, hopefully, maybe Aston Martin. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm confident, but we have to see what's going to happen. They want to improve the close racing between all the guys, so that might be a bit negative for Max. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know, but I'm happy, and I'm just happy they're going to race again, and I'm excited. So I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. You touched on it very briefly there, just mentioning the Mercedes side pods. I'm not sure what side pods you're seeing on the Mercedes, Noah.
There's no side pods. No.
No, it's like they left the factory without them and thought, that's all right, we'll run without them. Very creative design there from the Mercedes, the big brains at Mercedes. I love the new regulations just in generally because of you get so many teams come up with so many creative solutions, and we get Ted Kravitz describing the Ferrari with a baby bell. That was quite funny. Good stuff, Ted Kravitz. Exactly. Just aye. But how do we feel about the new Mercedes sidepods? Because obviously already questions have been raised by the likes of Red Bull and Ferrari especially. Is their side pod legal? I don't know. Have you fellas heard anything on that?
Well, I haven't heard anything. The FIA said it was legal. I think they said that. They have all the information. That's what Toto Wolff said. At least they gave all the information to the FIA and they approved it. So I think we just need to run with it. Mercedes build a strange side pod, but it's legal. So yeah, it's literally the same as a few minutes ago. We need to wait and see the results, because at the moment just we can't say anything, and they're still improving the car. They're still delivering upgrades. So yeah, we need to wait. Maybe other teams will do the same thing and join with a different side pod. We don't know. It looks a bit strange to me, but it might work. If it works, then GG's to Mercedes, honestly. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, the Mercedes team, they get like every team, they have to submit the CAD drawings, which is on the computer-based design of the car. They submit that to the FIA. The FIA have looked at it, and it's a radical, not something the FIA expected to see, or the F1 on this new era of car. But yeah, it sits within the parameters, and they've been given the green light on it. Now, you say about other teams adapting to it, it's going to be very difficult to do that. Like Mercedes actually are running the same chassis that they run in Barcelona. So they basically had this, they had false side pods, which they've just like removed off the car. And they've said, hello, we're here, like as a big surprise to everyone in Bahrain, which Mercedes, they like to come up with these things, didn't they? We've seen it in previous seasons as well. When they hit Barcelona, and on the second test, they come out with something completely radical. So credit to them. But it's going to be very difficult now. We've got the cost cap, and Toto Wolff has admitted that, for the whole season, they've budgeted in terms of like upgrades and areas of development in terms of where they're going to focus on, because they've got limited time now in the wind tunnel, as well as like research and development. They've had to scale down on operations. They've had to get rid of people, these big teams now as well. So I don't think it's going to be a simple copy-paste scenario, especially all of the teams now. Haas, they're going to have the most resources out of anyone because of the sliding scale policy. So, Matt, can you see anyone copying it? Because we've seen radical differences, and it's a total different philosophy from like Ferrari to, say, a Mercedes, because Ferrari got the biggest and the widest side pods going.
Yeah, I don't see anybody putting it on their car for this year. No way, Jose. It would be such a big change to try and put on your car. You'd have to change around so much. There's no way you could do that in a season. I think if we get to round one and the Mercedes is head and shoulders above everybody else, which I hope it's not, because we've had 7 years of it and we've had a regulation change, and if they're back up top again, I'm not going to be too pleased. But yeah, if that happens, all the teams are going to have to basically write off their seasons and go straight to next year and sort of redesign probably their whole car to try and fit something like that in, because that's such a fundamental change. It's not a little bolt-on thing that you can add on. So yeah, for this season, I think Mercedes will be the only ones running the no side pod design.
Or the size 0, shall we call it. That package was already like ultra slim around the back of the car. Like even in Barcelona, I was so impressed around like the neck, like the Coke bottle neck, as they call it, at the back of the car. It was super slim. And now they've just taken it one step further. Now the FIA, Ross Brawn, he was just doing an interview, but it did say like they could potentially change the regulations to ban this kind of thing if it was something again. Now, do you think it'd be the case like the DAS system, where they say, okay, at the end of the year, we're going to actually impose something where this is not legal? Or do you think they'll go the other route and say, yeah, we're going to ban it immediately? Because of course that's going to have an implication on the whole philosophy, the budget cost as well, which has already gone into it for Mercedes, and the legality. Can they actually do that if it's legal?
I would say if they were to ban it, which I don't think they will, but if they were to, I think it would have to be for next season. They couldn't do like a mid-season change this year now, especially with, like, say, with the cost cap. Mercedes would have to redesign their whole car. And I mean, I say that they wouldn't. They just stick the false side pods back on. But you're just punishing innovation at that point. If it is legal now, there's no point coming mid-season to say, actually, we don't really want you having that because you've done such a good job that no one can get close to you. So if they want to get rid of it, they'll wait until at least the end of the year. But I doubt they will.
What would you say is fair in that kind of scenario?
Well, I kind of agree with Matt, because Mercedes made a unique design on their side pods, and to compare it with the DAS system, I mean, every car has a side pod nowadays, and they just came with a different design, but it's still a side pod and it's on the car. Like the DAS system was entirely new. No one even thought about it, and they just brought it in, and you saw the immediate effect. And Formula One thought like, nah, we can't have this because they'll win the entire season without a problem with this. But the side pod is unique. They made a different design. I also have it here next to me. If I compared with other cars, Mercedes just came with a different design, but I think it's completely legal because they thought about it, they made it, and it worked. So if they decide to make it illegal, like Matt said, I think they'll do it next season just to make sure that the teams are happy with the budget cap as well, and probably give Mercedes the credits for coming up with a sidepod like this, honestly.
It's a rather risky innovation, but in terms of cooling, is going on, it's borderline extreme as well. Like if you're looking like in the hottest of conditions, I know it was like 32 degrees in Bahrain today, but we've seen more severe. And imagine sitting on the grid waiting for the pack to come along. You know, it's going to be cooking the engine. I know they've got some clever solutions in terms of their intercooler system on that car, but man, it's radical. And will it pay off or will it bite them in the butt? It'll take a few rounds to see, but credit where it's due to Mercedes for pulling another cat out the hat, shall we say?
Yeah, indeed. We'll see about those overheating. So I imagine Mercedes would have thought of this through, and there'll be ways they can, I don't know, the side pod opening, if they could open that up further, I don't know. But they'll have thought this through for sure. Okay, we've touched a little bit now on a few of the cars, and some good, some bad. Haas, why are you so bad? I want to hear from you now, an actual sort of, we're going to go from 10th to 1st. I want a proper sort of ranking. How would you rank the cars this season? I'm going to say, have we all universally said that Haas is probably last? Can we all agree on that?
No. No?
Okay, we will go through from the bottom then. I will start. I will say that last, I think, is Haas. I think I don't think they're as far away as last year, or I hope they're not, but I think they will still be at the back with no running. Noah, who do you think is going to suffer the worst this season?
I don't think it's Williams, honestly. I think they stepped up the game. Car's looking good. I don't want to say Haas, but I kind of need to, because I need to compare them with the other teams. So Haas, Williams, Alfa Romeo, with all respect. Yeah, Alpine is just next level. Aston Martin is next level. I think Haas. I think the Haas will be on the back, but I think they improved, but not enough. Not yet.
We're talking about the end of season as well, where they're going to be ranked at the end of the year. I think Alfa Romeo are going to be at the back.
Yeah.
Guan Yu Zhou not delivering.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I could see that happening. And they've got Bottas as their other driver. Not done too strong on the driver lineup there. Wow. Alfa Romeo last. That might upset a few people. What can I say? They've lost Kimi. What are they supposed to do now without Kimi? That's the issue.
I don't know what they're doing.
Moving up one position to 9th. Obviously, you've just said Alfa Romeo. I'm putting Alfa Romeo in at 9th. I reckon that's where they are. I still think they're going to be at the back, but not dead last. What about you, Noah? Who are you saying is 9th?
Yeah, I agree. I think Williams is close to Alfa, but above them. So yeah, Alfa Romeo 9th place. Yeah.
Big surprise. I've gone Haas P9.
Yeah. Okay. So we've all agreed Alfa Romeo and Haas down the back of the order.
Last two. Yeah.
Yeah. Not good enough. Moving on to 8th place. I have gone for Alpine. I don't think Alpine I don't think they've got it together. I don't think their car looks all that strong. And they had some good running today. I think it's the first sort of time we've really seen what they can do, but I'm not convinced. I reckon they're going to be down the back.
Nah, I'm putting Williams P8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone with Matt, credit where it's due. I've gone with Alpine as well. I think they're going to struggle this year. Again, the sole engine supplier as well to that car. A new generation of power unit gone in there. Apparently, the power unit's looking pretty good with the new E10 fuel in it as well. But I still think they're going to struggle this year. Good driver lineup, but they'll struggle.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I don't think they're going to be all that strong. Moving up then to 7th in the constructor standings, I've gone for Alpha Tauri. of all teams. I think that they've got a good driver lineup. I think Pierre Gasly is obviously very strong. I think Yuki Tsunoda in his second year maybe got a bit more experience. Maybe we'll see a bit more consistency out of him, because he was very much like a light switch last year. He was either epic or in a barrier. So hopefully there's a bit more consistency at him this year. But I reckon there's more teams that have put in more effort to really bump up the order that are going to push AlphaTauri down to 7th.
I think 7th will be Alpine. Yeah, nothing to it. Yeah, just Alpine P7.
I've gone for AlphaTauri again, so me and Matt, symmetry on that one. I feel like, yeah, I love Tsunoda. I think he will struggle again to adapt to this year's car. He admitted that his team manager was fitter than him last year. He's trying to step up his game in his pre-season work, but I feel like the package will suffer. Gasly will try and elevate him in a few races, but he's very hot and cold himself. And it's do or die for him as well this year. But yeah, I've gone for AlphaTauri.
Yeah, I agree on that Gasly thing. Something I was thinking about earlier. He's got to be coming close now to being the longest serving driver in that team. Because you think normally a driver comes into that team, you do 2 or 3 years, and then you're either up to the Red Bull or you're kicked out, you're gone. He's done what now? He's done half of 17, 18, half of 19. So we'll count that as now 2 seasons, plus 20 and 21. He's done 4 years there, going into a 5th. That's a long time to be with AlphaTauri. Make or break year for him. I agree. Moving on to 6th. I have decided, and I'm confident in this team, Williams P6 in the standings this year. I'm feeling new regulations. Williams normally do well out of that. I'm feeling they're going to jump their way up to 6th in the standings.
Okay. I'm going P6 for Aston Martin.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll improve a lot compared to last year. I think Seb, yeah, Lance Stroll, yeah, I can't say anything about him. Fucking, I don't know. No, yeah, Aston Martin P6. I think they'll be mid-pack, literally every race. That's about it. They might get a podium in the rain or something. That's about it. P6, Aston Martin.
Me and Matt once again aligned because I've gone for William. And the driver lineup is a bit shaky. Latifi and Albon stepping back in. New formula again, things to adjust to, but I feel like Williams will take strides, and I'll see them in 6th.
Moving on to 5th place. This is where I've dropped Aston Martin into the order. I think that their driver lineup all depends for me on how Sebastian Vettel adjusts to the new cars, because for me, Lance Stroll is a pretty much given driver. He's nothing special, I think, really, for them. It's all about how Seb, the driver who we know when he's got a car that he likes and he's on it, can be right up at the front. I think they will have developed their car for this year much earlier than the teams that will be above them in the year, because obviously last year they could pretty much sacrifice that off right from the start because it was pretty clear they were slow. However, I don't think, looking at the first 5 days, I don't think they've matched the top 4 teams. So Aston Martin P5.
Okay, this is going to be a bold statement, and this is literally because of the practice from last days and today. P5. Can I equal P4 and P5?
No.
P5 McLaren.
Ooh. Wow.
That's
I don't think no, P5 McLaren. Sorry guys.
Damn, son.
P5 McLaren. I don't think Lando, Lando will get some really good results. Daniel is still searching his place in McLaren. They're still searching they haven't found the right way yet with the car. I think they'll find it. That's why I want to equal them to P4. But for now, P5.
Right. I don't know what McLaren have done to offend you, Noah, but yeah, I totally disagree. And me and Matt are still aligned on this. I've got Aston Martin. I feel like they'll have a decent package. They'll have some very good one-off performances. I'll predict that they'll get a driver on a podium at least one occasion this year, but I don't think they'll be consistent enough throughout the year. They might come strong mid to late on in the season. But yeah, Aston Martin in P5 for me.
Okay. Wow. No, I can't believe you just said that. You have, wow.
It's a bold statement, bro. I told you. It's a risk. It's a risk. If it happens, I owe you. I need some money now. Man, if they end up P5, I'll be happy.
Aye. Okay. To be fair, I'm not that far different to you. I put McLaren 4th for the year. I think they looked quite strong in Barcelona, but they've come into Bahrain and they've had a really shaky couple of days. They've got hardly any running in, constantly with issues on the car. And I was reading earlier that they've got a lot of issues on their front brakes. It's the cooling they're struggling with. And at the moment, they can't do long runs. Now, they've got parts that are supposed to arrive for tomorrow, which hopefully will fix that, but no guarantees. Of course, Daniel's not had the running in the car he would have liked. Unfortunately, has got COVID. We hope he gets well soon. But I think Daniel will be better this year anyway, in terms of compared to last year. Because we saw it at Renault, didn't we? He kind of had that shaky first year, got outperformed by Hulkenberg a lot of the time. And then second year, he was there delivering a couple of podiums. But yeah, I think McLaren have done well, but not well enough. P4 for me.
Okay. I'm putting AlphaTauri on P4. And it literally depends on which track. That's why I wanted to equal them, because I think McLaren will beat AlphaTauri on many occasions, but I also think AlphaTauri will get McLaren in some occasions, and I think AlphaTauri will come on top for some reason. I don't know. I just have that feeling. So P4 AlphaTauri for me, purely because Gasly is a good driver and Yuki is improving. So P4 AlphaTauri.
Wow, big statements there. And Matt, I'm going to kick you in the nuts here. I've gone Ferrari.
Oh, you. Okay.
Yeah. Great driver lineup. It promises everything. They might do fantastic for the first quarter of the year, but I just think it's going to tail off. I think they've gone in a certain direction, which might pay dividends early on, but I feel that in the long run, other people will overtake them.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We're a team of disappointments, so if we're P4, I wouldn't be surprised.
They will win a race. They will win a race.
They'll win one. Nearly 3 years since we won a race. This is appalling for Ferrari. Okay, moving on to the top 3 in the constructors' standings, and I think it's these 3 teams for me that are going to be the 3 running at the front. And fingers crossed, touch wood, we're going to have a title fight between them. I've gone for 3rd. I've gone for Red Bull.
Ah, fuck off. No. I don't accept that. No.
It's quite the passionate reaction.
No. We can't do that. You
put McLaren 5th.
Right? Yeah, that's more fair, mate. No, I'm joking. Okay, P3 Red Bull. Okay, why? So tell me why at least.
Okay, I think they'll be at the front. Don't get me wrong. They will win races this year for sure. And Max will probably drag that car into some kind of title fight, provided that the top 2 aren't miles away. But I've seen innovations on the Mercedes and I've seen innovations on the Ferrari. Red Bull have got an interesting side pod design, but I think watching some of the testing today, I don't think either of the Red Bull drivers, they didn't look as comfortable with the car as perhaps they would like to be. And I'm sure that'll improve as the season goes on. But yeah, Max seems to be struggling a lot today. And I don't think Checo was amazing yesterday. I think he brought out the red flag end of the session. So I've gone for Red Bull, as much as Noah hates it, 3rd.
No, fair enough. Good reasons, not gonna lie. P3, I put Ferrari. I need to choose Red Bull or Ferrari, and obviously I won't pick Red Bull. So to be fair, Ferrari will be in the mix. 100%. I believe in that. Carlos doing a great job at Ferrari last season. Charles, one thing, is searching for the revenge. So Ferrari P3, but they'll be in the mix. 100%. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I've gone with Red Bull in third as well. I feel like they put their heart and soul into that last season, and I feel that others have stolen a march on them. I don't think it's anything to do with the drivers, but I feel there'll be a big shake-up this year. I just feel it coming. But I could be radically wrong, and Adrian Newey is capable of anything, but it's just my gut feeling. It's just something I'd done. I didn't think too much about it, in all honesty, but I think they put a lot of effort into last year, and they're going to suffer for the early part of this season, particularly. That will just lag behind for the rest of the season, I feel.
Yeah, fair enough. Indeed. Moving on to our top two then. I am going in second place. I've gone with Ferrari. I think we look to have improved from last year. We look to be maybe, fingers crossed, hopefully in that position where we can maybe consider a title fight, maybe. But unfortunately, I don't think we'll be the number one team. I think our testing pace is always we always make ourselves look a bit better in testing than we actually are. So I think we will slot into that P2 slot, probably around the same as Red Bull, I think.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm going a P2 Mercedes. I can't say Red Bull, man. I can't. I think it's just hard because I think Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari will be equal. Well, not particularly equal, but they'll fight each other for sure. So it literally depends on which track it's going to be. Like, I think Mercedes will be better in Bahrain, but if Malaysia comes back, who knows? Maybe Red Bull will be better. Monaco, maybe Red Bull, but if we go to Monza or Imola, I don't know, maybe Ferrari will be better. So I'm going Mercedes P2. Fuck it. I don't know what to say.
Well, I haven't mentioned McLaren. McLaren are my second fastest team on the grid for this year. I'm going bold. I'm going big. I think they're doing big things. I think they're going to hit the ground running this year, although they're going to have them issues with the brakes, like Matt said, etc. I feel like they've got an understanding of this porpoising issue that's been with a lot of cars. They've got a lid on it pretty early on. And I don't want to compare them to like a Brawn, for instance, but I think they're going to rack up enough points early on in the season before other people get a lid on it and be consistent at a lot of tracks to gain enough points to potentially be second. And my heart says it maybe more than my head, but yeah, I'm putting them there.
There you go. Second for McLaren. Moving on then to the number one, the Constructors' Champions of 2022. Pains me to say it, but I think it's going to be Mercedes. I think they've come out with such a brave concept of a car, so different to everybody else. And it doesn't, normally with such a different concept, it's either amazing or terrible. And it doesn't look terrible. So by my logic, it's only going to be great. I think they've got one of the things that makes them great, I think, is also the thing that could trip them up, and that is their driver lineup. Hamilton and Russell, you've got two quality drivers in there, both capable of winning races and probably fighting for the world championship. However, what's the dynamic between them going to be? Is it a Hamilton Bottas or a Hamilton Rosberg? And I've got a feeling it might be a bit closer to a Hamilton Rosberg situation. So that's the only thing I could see tripping them up. But what do you think, Noah?
Well, I believe in Mercedes, their capabilities, and I think George will push Lewis like a madman. He wants to show Mercedes and the entire world that he's capable of beating Lewis, of course. But still, P1 Red Bull for me. Guys, fingers crossed. Like I said, it's going to be different every week. We don't know. We need to wait for it. But I think Mercedes, Red Bull, and Ferrari will be the best teams. So I hope Red Bull, because I'm Dutch. My Formula One heart says Mercedes. Yeah, it's literally the same as like P4, P5. I want to equal P1, P2, and P3. At least P1 and P2. But no, my race heart says Mercedes. I hope Red Bull, of course. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, I've got Mercedes left on the list here. I think it'll be very tight. I think we could go into the final 2 or 3 rounds with a couple of teams in it. Red Bull definitely got the potential to do so. I'd love to see Ferrari at the sharp end of the grid. Can you imagine having a 4-way scrap for the Constructors' Championship?
Would be awesome. Would be awesome.
You know, and we'd love to see it. I think the cars will perform differently at different tracks. The Mercedes definitely looks like a sleek, straight line, silver bullet, and you expect it to go well at Monza and any high-speed circuit on the calendar, maybe your Bakus, etc. So let's watch out for that, because it could be a big variation. Such radical designs, different concepts there. Red Bull, I think they'll stick to their guns and their philosophy, and it will be a good all-round agile car. Ferrari as well could turn it on at the likes of a Monaco. You never know. But yeah, let's hope Charles Leclerc wins at Monaco this year, Matt, by the way. And he has rotten luck there. But yeah, I feel Mercedes, I can't look past them. Like, so many seasons now. There's 8 in a row, Constructors' Championships. And yeah, dominant.
Yeah. My guy mentioned Charles Leclerc to win the Monaco Grand Prix.
I'd love that. I would love that.
He deserved it. He deserved it. Although we all knew Max's race pace probably would have been better, but he was P1. You can't overtake around Monaco. Well, it's really hard to do. So, yeah, he deserved to win Monaco. I think every Formula One fan felt his pain. You saw him sitting there on the grid, George Russell sitting next to him, giving him the shoulder bump or whatever. His pain was extraordinary. Like, everyone saw it.
Yeah, he does have some horrible luck in Monaco, and eventually he'll have a good race there. He's a bit like remember Jenson Button. He used to have terrible luck at the British Grand Prix. Never even got on the podium. Even in his championship winning year with Brawn, he arrived at round 8, the British Grand Prix, having won 6 of the first 7 races. Turned up to Silverstone, didn't even get on the podium. Had like no luck there. All right, moving on, because we've done this before and we've talked for way too long, and we're going to do it again. I can already tell. So we will move on.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. We've touched on some predictions for the overall standings, and some of us had some bold predictions. Noah with McLaren 5th. Honestly, I want to hear 3 bold predictions from all of yous. I will go first. I will give you a moment to think if you haven't already. I'm going with bold prediction numero 1. I think Aston Martin will win a Grand Prix. I think it will be in a crazy race. I don't think it will be they're going to turn up somewhere and just be really fast. I think it will be like it rains a lot at Spa, or we go to Saudi Arabia and everybody falls off the road again or something, and Hamilton brake checks Verstappen or something. But yeah, I reckon in the hands of Vettel, of course. Let's not be silly here. Lance Stroll's not about to win a Grand Prix. Bold prediction number 2. Haas will score 10 points through the year. I think they're going to have one big surprise result, and then maybe just a couple other like 10th place, 9th places somewhere. I think Haas are going to score at least 10 points. And finally, I think that Lewis Hamilton will retire at the end of the season.
Oh,
Go on. Well, I like that.
I don't like
Sorry.
that.
Sorry, Rich.
I would like that as well, to be fair. No, I think that I think the scenarios, it's either Mercedes deliver a car Lewis wins the championship this year, wins title number 8, and decides what more is there to achieve? Because I don't think he's got the drive like someone like Alonso or Raikkonen had, just keep going for the sake of it. I think once he's achieved title number 8, if it happens, I think he'll call it quits. Or I think the scenario is that maybe Mercedes don't deliver him the car. And I don't think, I can't see him sticking around to build up that team again. I think if their car's not a front runner, I could very well see him deciding to call it a day.
That's a bold prediction.
It is indeed. That was the idea. Rich, go on. Give us your thoughts, bold predictions for 2022.
My mind is kind of blown by that point, and my bold predictions seem less bold at this point with what you've said as well. So I've got on my list here is that the least bold thing is that Ocon will outscore Fernando Alonso this year. I think that would be a pretty mundane task. Sainz to win his first race in this championship. And McLaren, like I previously said, will finish second in the constructors. So yeah, not bold, not italic, just plain text from me in comparison to Matthew Connerville.
To be fair, Ocon beating Alonso, I don't know. I think Alonso's not. It depends. At what point does Alonso fall off the cliff? He's getting old, but I don't know. I don't. Yeah, true. I don't know. I reckon Alonso will have the measure of Ocon, personally. Anyway, Noah, go on.
All right, this is going to be really bold. Okay. Okay, man. I'm good at this. My first one. Okay, this is purely because he's back. The legendary man himself, KMAG, will finish on the podium once this season. Okay. 100%. 100%.
Right. Okay.
All right. Second, Alexander Albon will finish in the top 10 in the constructors. Because I believe in Williams. I think Albon can finish in the top 10 at the end of the season. And third, okay, this is going to be a tough one. Lewis Hamilton will retire 6 times this season because of an engine failure.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's purely because of the Sidepods. So I hope it's going to happen, but it's a really bold prediction. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it happens,
let's not talk about that. Let's move on swiftly.
Negative. Yeah, I would love that to watch like Malaysia 2016, but happens 6 times this year. That would be brilliant.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was thinking about.
Oh dear. Oh, did you get it, Rich? Because he lost the championship to Rosberg.
No. I can hear his radio message every time. Oh no. With the I like that. I'm sorry, Rich. I'm sorry.
Richie's gonna have to take a moment to recover from this. I told him that he's gonna retire full stop. Noah says he's gonna not finish 6 races. Wow. Richie's, God bless his little outlet.
Get a glass of water, Richie.
Okay, fair enough. You put Kevin Magnussen to get, what was it, a podium?
A podium once. 100%. 100%.
The grid is wiped out. It's been
I don't care. I don't care how.
Whatever it was.
He's going to finish 3rd. I can feel it.
Wow. You're going to need another. Bottas is going to have to go bowling again, I think, for that to happen. But maybe, Bottas will be starting near the back every race now. So maybe he'll just straight through everybody.
Who knows? Like Hungary, man. Not even breaking into turn 1.
You don't need to brakes. Brakes are for pussies.
Exactly.
Aye. That is some. I thought mine were brave. Noah's just come out and absolutely. I tell you what, if any of them are true, we owe Noah something. Like that's you are one brave little man. Okay, moving moving forwards, speaking of Haas, speaking of Kevin Magnussen's in Formula One. Excuse me. We talked about maybe doing this podcast last week. So much has changed in the last week, and all of a sudden, Kevin Magnussen back in Formula One. Nikita Mazepin, unfortunately, has gone. Obviously, that's through no fault of his own. And I do feel for Nikita a little bit, because this isn't any of his doing. But unfortunately for him, once his money fell through, it didn't make sense for Haas to keep him, and it is a shame. But he has gone. But Kevin's back. You love to see it. Love Kevin. Gunter, hide your doors. Richie, what are you thinking? How do you feel about the return of KMAG?
Absolutely fan-fucking-tastic. He should never have gone in the first place. They should have kept him in that seat, because he was a stable head. He's experienced. He's 29 years old, but he's got serious talent. He come into the sport. He got podium on, what was his first season or something? Like, this guy.
First race.
First bloody race. Come on. And then you got this guy Mazepin. He was only in the seat because of the money. The money was dirty, and now he's gone. That's all that needs to be said about that guy. Good riddance. Goodbye. Never liked him. Suck my balls.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. First of all, I pray for Ukraine. So the statements that he's made were not acceptable in my eyes. Honestly, I don't even care. He sucks. So KMAG coming back. Of course, Magnussen has a great history. Well, history. He drove a few years for us, and it went quite well with Roman as well. And Gunther Steiner and Magnussen were friends, of course. So I think Gunther called him and said, KMAG, we need you back here. There are some big troubles. Now he came back. I'm really happy, and I'm really curious to see what he can do. Of course, we all know what he's capable of. He's a good driver, a great man off track as well. So yeah, I think for the sport and for us as the fans, it's good that he's back.
What do you make of the fact that Mazepin made a foundation for all of these Russian athletes as well? I think it's very ill-advised, ill-timed, and it's not the first time he's done it as well. He invited, everyone who raced without a flag, basically, from the Olympics to I think it was Sochi. So, I mean, it's just poor timing, like everything he's done, really, and he's the spotlight he's been under. I don't agree with it.
It's a bit of the subject, but like Haas. The Haas team gave him the opportunity to drive for Haas if he what was the deal? He had to be like neutral, so he was for Ukraine and for Russia as well, and he didn't accept it. Of course, I also think that's because of his father. His father is great friends with Putin. So if he backed out, well, if he said like no war between Russia or Ukraine or whatever, I think he would have been in big troubles. But yeah, the foundation for some supporters in Russia, yeah, I fully agree. For some, I don't agree. In Nikita's case, I don't think it's good. It was his own mistake. There are some athletes that don't deserve to be disqualified or whatever. Like, it's not in their hands, Russia, they're not the government, they're just athletes, and they want to do as well as they can. It's not in their hands, so they don't deserve to be disqualified. Some made like they said they wanted to back Russia, and it's not really smart. It's not a smart thing to do in these times. Everyone backs Ukraine, and if you say Russia is more important, whatever, yeah, it's not smart to do in my eyes.
Yeah, tricky to talk about. Matt, you happy K-Mag's back? I can see that. You can feel it. Good energy. He's back.
Yeah, he is indeed. Good stuff for Kevin. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to speak too much on it. It's a really touchy subject. But I feel bad for Nikita. It's not his fault. I feel bad for all the other Russian athletes because it's not their fault either. They're not the ones going to war at the end of the day. But what's happening is happening, and we'll stick to Formula One. That's what I know about. Happy that Kevin is back on the grid. The interesting with Kevin, what was he racing last year? Something, or was he not?
Yeah, he was driving in America. His teammate was a Dutch guy. Van der Sande is his name. They were driving in, I believe, LMP2 cars, or some sort. I don't know. So yeah, he was driving. I think he really liked it, but of course, Formula One for him as a European is of course the top step. So I don't think he even thought about it. I think he just went for it instantly.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with that. My only concern was obviously his fitness. Obviously, he's had no expectation to be coming back into Formula One, so he wouldn't have been training like they do for Formula One over the winter. Because why would you do that to yourself if you're not going to drive Formula One cars? So I think for the first race or two, I think it'll be interesting to see how he copes doing the full 1.5 hours. After that, I imagine he'll be fine. But it'll be interesting to see. I think the other really interesting thing about Kevin coming back and now that driver dynamic in Haas, no matter where Haas are in the pecking order, we're going to be able to properly this year gauge where Mick Schumacher is as a driver. Because Kevin has done however many seasons he's done. He's a proven talent. We know roughly where in the pecking order Kevin should be. He's probably not going to win the world championship, but he ain't terrible. He's there because he's got talent. And it's going to be really interesting to see how Mick fares up against him, because we're going to see if Mick is a good driver or not now.
Yeah, it's the perfect time to be a rookie as well, coming into this new series almost, because Guan Yu Zhou, who else we got in there? Albon coming back in. I mean, it's George Russell going to Mercedes. This is ample opportunity to go in and just try and steal a march on the experienced drivers, because it's a different style, a different way of braking, a different aero load on the car. So yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed. And I just want to say kudos to Sebastian Vettel as well for starting all of this as well, and raising awareness, because he was the first one to come out and say that he will refuse to race in Sochi, and then he got the ball rolling. Then we had a few other drivers come out and say they would be uncomfortable to do so as well. We saw the race get dropped, and then subsequently Uralkali got removed from the team. And we pray for Haas as well. We want to see him on the grid. Let's hope Andretti come in, maybe potentially, to save the day for future seasons. It'd be great to see a US brand on the grid, in the stars and stripes, in the correct order of the red, white, and blue. And maybe we see a US driver, because there's I can't remember his name, but there's a up and coming prospects as well, which would be great for the sport.
Yeah, for sure. You obviously got F1 growing massively out in the States as of late. A lot of that comes down to, as we know, Netflix Drive to Survive, which season 4 came out today. Haven't watched it yet. Don't know if it's any good. I've only heard bad things, but we will. Yeah, have you seen any of it?
Well, I have seen the last 3 seasons. I don't like it, honestly. I've watched it because it's Formula One, but if you're a real fan and a nerd about the sport, I don't recommend watching it, because I don't know what they've done, but no, it's not good.
Well, there's some interesting things that we don't get to see. That's the only reason.
I
don't like the narrative, but I like to see a few things behind the garage. Gene losing it with Gunter and things like that. But
yeah, there are some really cool shots that we can't lie about that, but the main, well, why are we talking about Netflix? The main thing is not okay, but some pieces are quite fun to watch.
Where's Max in it as well?
That's why I don't like it.
He's not a big fan. He's not a big fan of it.
Yeah, not too worried about his image catching the wrong side.
To be fair, I don't blame Max for not being in it, because they do make up such bonkers stories on there. What was it we had like Lando versus Carlos being like a really big rivalry at one point. Those guys they're best friends. Like what? No, they're not. Anyway, back to real Formula One. Enough with the Netflix. Aye. Who are we feeling? The big question, who are we feeling is going to be the driver of the season? The driver who's going to get it done and come out on top? I think I'm going to stick with I've put Mercedes to win the constructor, so I'm going to stick with a Mercedes driver. The tough call is Lewis or George. I think Lewis is a proven world champion. We know that. I think George is a proven talent. I think it's going to just be Lewis for this season who takes it. I think he will just have the measure of George, being as George is just new at that team. But that's my only reason for putting Lewis ahead of George.
Richie, go ahead, man. I need to think about this.
I dropped the question before. I think it's going to be one hell of a season. I think there's going to be people taking points off of each other. I think that Lewis and Max, they're going to go to battle once again. And when they come wheel to wheel and track, we're going to see fireworks once again. I see Ferrari being at the front end of the grid. I see Landon first race this season. I see McLaren being really strong, but I see the world champion being George Russell.
Okay.
I feel that going wheel to wheel, Lewis and Max, there's going to be too many fireworks once again. And I feel consistently, calmly, he's going to plod along. He won't win a race for the first maybe 6 rounds this season, but he'll bank enough points over the season and be consistent enough. Like you said before, I've got a real worry this year that Lewis will have multiple DNFs, whatever you want to call it, and that in the longevity, George is cool, calm, and calculated. And with this new formula, he's going to hit the ground running. Don't ask me why, but yeah, I just got a feeling it's going to be George this year.
I think it's going to be either Max or Lewis. And to be honest, I think Lewis, but I hope Max. No, we need to be fair. Now we need to be fair. We need to be fair. Mercedes is a really good team, and Lewis is always there. Like, I can't remember. Well, Monaco wasn't good for Lewis and for Mercedes, but he's always delivering. He knows what to do. He knows the team well. He knows the car. Although it's a new car, he's capable of adapting really quickly. So yeah, I give this one to Lewis, but I hope Max. I hope he's capable of putting up another amazing fight. But I think Lewis.
So I'm the only one who hasn't picked Lewis for the championship.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're meant to be the Lewis fan here, Rich. Come on, that's
come on.
That is appalling.
I mean, we've converted you. Welcome to the fan club. Thank you very much. That is the end of the podcast. Good night. No.
Negative. No, you will never convert me to be a Lewis fan. That is not happening. And I very much think Noah cannot be converted either.
No. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah. He's a great driver, but I just don't like the guy. Yeah. I've just checked my list of things to talk about today, and we've put it off because the vein hasn't come out in Richie's head yet, and I've been loving it. But here we go. Look at him. He's getting ready.
Oh.
We're gonna talk about the FIA.
Oh.
We're gonna talk
look at him.
We're going to talk about the changes, and I'm hoping that keeps Richie a bit calmer. Richie, I've spoken to you many a time before, and you've had some very strong opinions about the FIA. Why don't you kick us off with, just talk us through what's changed and what you think of the new changes.
I think the new changes, they've tried to, dust it under the carpet, whatever you want to call it. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, I need to look at it logically. Let's look at it from a sporting perspective. You can't change the result after it's happened. You can't do that. I mean, otherwise you open a can of worms. And F1, after the races, we still have investigations, things happening. etc. But it went too long, etc. And there was nothing that was actually cheated from driver to driver. So I think the result, although as a Lewis fan, I felt it was extremely unfair at the time. I feel that Max is a worthy and a fair champion. And yeah, I bite my tongue saying that I still feel Lewis was robbed by the race director, that person. I don't wish to mention his name, but I'm also glad that he has been demoted. I feel like if it was in the Champions League final and something had gone astray to that kind of level where he manipulated the result, that he would be demoted to the Europa League or to a national. He'd be removed from it, and that I think that was fair and just. I don't feel that the extreme level of making more race directors, having a virtual digital race room and all of this kind of stuff, I think we're going too far, and it could, like VAR in football, I don't like this kind of thing as well. So, I mean, it was severe. He fucked up, and yeah, he should feel some pain. But I think there was a narrative as well. We wanted to go into the final rounds, equal on points. We saw in Saudi, like I said before, certain things not punished as severely potentially as they could be, and throughout the season that correlated as well in other events, whether it is Lewis's favor, Max's favor, and I just hope that it is consistent, it is fair throughout the season, and that is my worry as well, because we're going to have different race directors potentially at different rounds, and how you're going to stick to the rule book there as well. So I'm glad that the team radio has been banned, because that is a big thing that's come out as well. So they can still talk to them, but for safety concerns, so for Spa, and there is concerns about the conditions we're driving in, then we do have communication, but I don't want to see people coercing other people into it. What's happened has happened. We move on, and I'm glad that person has been removed. And that's it. And congratulations, Max. In the grand scheme of things, it was a season that will never be forgotten. And that's it. We move.
There you go. Richie's just spoken about it and not got the vein out. That was impressive. Good stuff, Rich. Yeah, I think I'm going to mention Michael Massey's name as many times as I can, just to make up for the times he didn't say it. I think they were right to drop him. I think you can't make a mistake that big. Like it, the rules were changed in a way that it was like, okay, I can understand what you're doing and I get it, but also you can't change the rules mid-race. That's not how it works. So I think they were right to drop him. As for our new race directors, I don't agree with putting two people in that job that aren't all both there at the same time. Like, we're just going to have different race directors at different races. Like, what? We already whinge and moan now that there's not consistency in the application of the rules and penalties. Surely we're going to lose that more if you've got two different people doing the thing at different races. That doesn't make sense to me personally. I think you needed one person doing it who's just going to be consistent and not have any biases and just apply the rules as they are meant to be. But I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it works out great and we're just being silly, but I could see this causing more issues. Noah, what do you think?
Well, at the end, I'm happy with the decisions he made. Now, I talked about it with a friend, with a friend of mine. In IndyCar, the rule is that you can't finish under a yellow flag. Like, they don't finish behind a safety car or under a yellow, and that's purely because they don't want to be something like being decided without a chance of overtaking each other or competing with each other. And I think Massey thought the same thing. Like, you don't want to end a championship or a beautiful race behind a safety car. And that's why he made the decision. I think the only thing he had to do differently is the left cars, you know. He should have let the left cars go by way earlier. Like, I think if he did that, he still would have let them go. So at the end, the decision wasn't wrong. I agree with him being I don't where does he work? He's still working for the FIA, right? But one position lower.
A safety role, which is still concerning for me, but yeah, the safety advisor kind of thing.
Yeah. So he has been lowered. I agree with that. At the end, the decisions that he made, I agree with that as well. Yeah, it's hard. I don't what you said, Matt. I don't agree with two people sitting there. Like I don't even know how they're going to do that. Like, will they discuss things, or is it going to be individually but different times? So I don't know. As well as the VAR system, I don't know if it's going to work, honestly. Like the rule book is there for a reason, and we've done this system for like since the beginning of Formula One. So yeah, I don't see why this is being brought in, but yeah, they thought about it. I think they saw an opportunity to do it, and apparently they think it's going to be right or something. So yeah, we'll see. It might be really good, and we might be talking about this at the end of the season, and we'll be saying like, yeah, the VAR upgrade, fantastic, So we need to wait. We need to see it in action to really tell our opinion about it, honestly.
Yeah, I would. We'll have to wait and see it. Like pretty much everything this season, we will need to just wait and see it before we can have a proper opinion. But my expectations are low. We have been talking for I think just over an hour now. Anything else you fellas would like to discuss, or shall we consider wrapping up?
Malaysia. We've seen it on Instagram a lot, Twitter. We've raced there for many years. Do we want the Malaysia GP back on the list?
Yes.
Tell us, Richie, why? Why? What do you like about the Malaysian GP?
I mean, it's just a sweet flowing track. It's got the overtaking opportunities. It challenges the cars, medium to high speed. You've got long straights into slow corners as well. It's just a fantastic circuit. It was a shame to lose it. And I feel that with the loss of Sochi, if they do want to supplement the calendar, got enough races already, then definitely Malaysia should be considered. But they've got to put it in the right jigsaw of that F1 calendar and try and do it whilst we're in that sort of neck of the woods. But it's a fan's favorite. It's an old school track, and many memories, some good, some bad.
Oh no.
All right, Matt, what do you think about it?
I agree. I would like to see Malaysia back. I think it produced many a good races through the years. I mean, maybe that's me as a non-Mercedes fan talking, because like the last 3 years we raced there, Mercedes didn't win. But yeah, it produces some great racing, and the weather as well. You get so much. It can be dry 1 minute, and then 10 minutes later it is monsooning down. I just think it'd be a great track to go to. I think what are the other options? The other option is probably Turkey, isn't it? We could go do Istanbul Park again, which is a nice circuit. I'd like to see a race in the dry there in the modern cars, because we've had 2 wet races. I want to see just like a dry race at Turkey. So I think there's some good picks to potentially replace. Oh, do Portugal want a race? Could we do Portimao? Because that's not on the calendar at the moment.
I like Portimao when I'm driving on it in a league race. Honestly, I really like it. In real life, I don't know. Honestly, I can't remember much from the race. I know Mercedes was dominant on the mediums, and that's about it. I think I wouldn't add it again, honestly. Too many corners. The straights are too small. Although with the new cars, they say you can follow the cars better. So it might be better as well with these cars. But with the 2021 cars and 2020 cars, no. I would prefer Malaysia or Turkey above Portugal. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I think it was pretty much you could DRS past people. That was about it, really, wasn't it? You could, and even turn one. That was you couldn't go side by side through turn one. Someone had to concede, so it wasn't great for racing.
Hockenheim.
Yes. Let's have
the last
let's
sector
have
is the
fun.
only problem. That's the thing. Like we have the Hockenheim has the drag strip at the end, last corner. They don't want to get rid of that. I can see why, of course. It's also a part of income for them. But for the Formula One cars, it's crucial, and yeah, they don't want to listen to the FIA.
Stay on the track. Don't do what Lewis done. Just stay on the track.
Just don't drive off the track, innit, fellas?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a lovely track. We can't lie. Great location. The long straight in sector 2 is awesome. The hairpin. Yeah, and it has like a Formula One history to it. If you see the track, you instantly think about Formula One, Seb Vettel in a Ferrari and stuff. So, oh, sorry. No.
Oh, Matt, give me a cuddle. Oh God.
Oh
no.
No.
You break
Sorry,
my heart.
Matt.
You
Sorry.
break my heart.
Sorry. Oh no.
How could you? I can't watch that race back. Honestly, it is the.
You finished second.
No. I mean 18, the one before.
Oh. Yeah, he crashed in
19 was a great race. I love that one. 18.
Then a Fiat P3.
Straight on into the gravel track. Like what? No.
Yeah, no, it's a great track. I would like to see it back. But yeah, yeah, it's a great track. That's it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's coming back, but it's a great track.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. Well, we can pray for Hockenheim.
Exactly.
Aye. Who's going to win Bahrain? Final thing. Quick fire. Who's winning Bahrain?
Lewis.
Richie, go.
Norris.
Okay, George Russell.
Okay.
Aye. All right, good stuff, fellas. We've been going on for what? Probably an hour and a quarter now. You good there?
Noah,
Sorry?
who did you pick for Bahrain?
Lewis.
George Russell.
No,
Oh,
Russell.
yeah,
Lewis.
okay, yeah.
Lewis.
Do it done there. Yeah,
Lewis
yeah.
P1, Max P2, Russell P3.
That's boring. Come on.
Again, Rich, you're meant to be a Lewis fan. What are you on about?
Yeah.
You're supposed to like this.
It's a depression, mate. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dear.
Deluded
Richie just doesn't want to.
yourself.
Richie
Deluded.
Richie doesn't want to back Lewis. He don't want to jinx it. That's fair. Aye. There we go, fellas. I'm sure we'll be back with plenty to discuss in a week's time after the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's mad. It's only next week. You absolutely love to see it. Thanks for joining us, fellas. We've had Noah, we've had Richie, we've had myself, Matt. I hope you have enjoyed the listen, and we will see you in a week's time after round 1 of the Formula One World Championship. Goodbye.